Good morning, traders, and this is your Dow Jones day trade setup for today. So that daily bar that we got yesterday does not fill me with much confidence. Okay, so a couple of things. We are pretty much off a level. Okay, there are three levels here. Okay, so these are our three levels. In actual fact, there are four, because this is the area that I was looking for us to get to, which was 26315. But with that daily bar at the moment, doesn't fill me with much hope at the moment. Okay, so what we do have is the Asian markets that are up. Hang Seng is up almost 1%, and the Nikkei's up 0.4%. So Asia is rallying at the moment, but and that's what's driving the current price action. But I think this area is pretty strong. It's a pretty strong area of resistance, and I would like to see a bit of a pullback now. There is a very interesting setup here, and I'm just going to shoot across to a Bollinger Band setup just to have a look here. Okay, so what I was looking at was this pop out below the Bollinger, and then it's still quite far out the Bollinger. But normally what you're looking for is a, how do I put it, you're looking for, there's one there, so you got to pop out and then you close, or you just touch the Bollinger Band and rally. It's normally a big W reversal. This is still seen as a W reversal with a neckline up here. Anyway, just double check the weekly as well. Nothing. Okay. Just ignore that for now. Right, let's get these levels back in. So, first level, there is my pullback level that I'm looking for. Okay, but this price action here with the oscillators does not bode well for me. Okay, that does look like an area that I need to pay careful attention to. I want to check the Fibonacci level of that, 72.6. Okay, let's just get down to lower time frames. We'll get a much better picture. Okay, so you can see we had a really strong rally on the 3-hour. Trend is still up, rounding ever so slightly, but it is still up. And if you look at the oscillators, they've sort of come off their highs. So we could be consolidating, and I'll draw that consolidation in on a lower time frame. Okay, but that daily bar is really a bit of a worry. And what you need to be careful of is, let's get this right. Okay. So a break below 26047 is going to see us travel quite some distance to the downside. So this gap would definitely close on that break. But I think you'd probably come back down to this level here of 25,948. Okay, so that's definitely something that I'd watch out for. But on the other hand, if you look at what's going on with the oscillators here, we've crossed over again on the hour. We are grouped to the downside in a buying area. So, it's telling me that we need to be pay attention to our longs. Now, what could be setting up here is we've had a trend down, break up, pull back, and then another rally. Okay, so in other words, I'm still looking for longs. It's just that day bar is just put a little bit of concern into my brain. So in other words, I want to be pretty careful of my longs, because there may be a relatively deep pullback. And a lot of times what you get with that kind of setup is it's a 171 point day. So if I take this down here, That's only 100 points, and that's 200 points. So, and there is there's a Brooks gap here, quite a big Brooks gap. So there's another area that you'd want to see some kind of a pullback to. Okay. So yeah, so last thing here. That was my wedge. We broke the wedge. Now what you really look to see is another attempt to test the highs, which would be a double top, also the wedge test, and then another move off. Okay, so I'm really expecting some kind of consolidation or pullback before we break to the upside and continue this trend. That's pretty much what I'm looking for. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. I think if we can get down and close this gap today, that would bode pretty well for me anyway. Only concern I'd have is that would break below the daily pin bar that we have, and that would give me, if we get a close below there on the daily, that's going to give me the confidence that we need to look for the opposite direction. Okay, look for a deeper pullback and then look for our longs. So for now, cautious trading is the way to go. I'm not convinced we need to be long here, so I'm looking for additional moves to the downside. Your stop levels are pretty much going to be the high of yesterday, because if we do break above the high of yesterday, that basically nullifies a short trade. And anyway, the short trade should only be taken on a drop below 26047 right now. Okay. Lastly, I think the right thing to do is to drop down to the low time frames. Okay. You can see low time frames at the moment are grouping to the upside, indicating another move to the downside. And that is pretty much what I would be expecting. Definitely want to see this gap close, but then we've got some Brooks gaps here. I don't think we've got any other structure further left. Let's just double check. This one is interesting. I'll just change that color. Okay, that one's fairly interesting. And the one above it's also interesting. You can see all these tails here, and there's price at the moment. So I do strongly suspect we're going to get some buying in this area, to be honest. So this one has some interest. Okay, this one has quite a bit of interest, and if we just look on the daily, and the daily is the one that I'm looking for. That's the area I'm looking for. Okay, so this can be a one bar. This is basically a one bar pullback in a bull trend. This is a strong bull trend. One bar, you may end up with a 2-bar pullback onto here, and then build a base at this level and move the upside. Bear in mind that the moving average has just crossed over as well, so you do want to see a pullback to the break. The last thing I want to have a look at is ichimoku, and you can see we're in the cloud here. The concern is Kijun-sen and Tenkan-sen. Still no crossover and pointing down. Cloud is red. So this is still indicating that, some kind of a pullback. I'd prefer to see Tenkan-sen moving up to crossover, and we're not getting that at the moment. If we look at the 4-hour, trend is extremely strong to the upside at the moment. So you're only looking for longs. Every fractal break, you're looking for longs. Break that fractal to the upside, looking for long. Break that fractal, we're still looking for longs. This was a retest of the break as well. And if we look at the hour, we have a bearish crossover. Okay, it's a bit of a mixed bag. So I think ultimately be very careful of what you're doing. Let's go back to our normal one. So just be careful of what you're doing. We could get another move to the downside. And as I said, I'm definitely would be interested in this area here. And in fact, I'm just going to put 2 in there because there are 2. There's a first fractal, there's a second fractal. That to me is what I'd like to see. Now, if we have a deeper pullback, right down here to 200 moving averages, that would also bode very well. But this breakout that we see here, of this level here, that gives me a second move, basically from the bottom there. So this is a double bottom to me, okay? You can see double bottom, there it is. Boom, boom. The low, lower, low. That is a double bottom. We have broken above it. We've got 3 days close above it. I'd like to see a retest before heading to the upside. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm looking for. Looking for that deeper pullback. Really looking for a pullback back into this area here of 25,900 area. And looking at the structure at the moment, I think we have a fairly good chance of that happening. So you can see here rally, group to the upside, diversions on the moving averages starting to roll over. This right now is looking like a short entry. Not that I want to get in now, not this time of the morning, but wait for Europe Open and have a look at what Europe Open says. Any move down into this zone here, I'm looking for longs. Okay, bear in mind we may only just get this gap close as well, right? So there's quite a bit of congestion here around the gap, so you may only just get the gap close. Okay, anyway guys, that's my view at the moment. I'm still looking for longs, just want a deeper pullback, and that deeper pullback to me is looking like we may tag, well actually the very bottom one, so 25,909 or 25,900 is where I'd be looking for some structure on the 12 or 15 minute chart that's indicating buyers are stepping in. Okay, anyway guys, that's it for me today. Hope it helps, and I will catch up with you later. Cheers for now.